winning streak. What's been the biggest key to that?
Just staying focused on every day, and then locking into each day and not getting caught up in anything bigger than that.
What's the important thing about playing a team like GW? What do you have to do tonight?
We got to limit their threes, and that really comes three ways. We got to get back in transition. We got to do a good job in their half-court stuff with their ball screens, and then we got to keep them off the glass because they are really good at offensive rebounding, kicking out for those dagger threes. You
guys are having a heck of a year. You've won 20 games already. I've watched enough. You look like an NCAA tournament team to me. Do you talk about it with the guys on the team at all?
We really don't. We stay locked into, we've gotten 11 league wins. We're trying to get number 12 tonight. We just really stay focused on that.
Well, good luck tonight.
Appreciate you.
Chris Caputo and GW ready to go here against VCU as we take a look at the starting lineups. Now, Rafael Castro, who's missed the last 5 games with a foot injury, is listed as questionable tonight. He did go through warm-ups, but he's not in the starting lineup, and we're still not sure if he will play. Boo Boo Benjamin is out again. And Brandon Jennings is back in the starting lineup for Phil Martelli Jr. His team, as we told you, has won 9 in a row, and they're 12-2 at home this season. Our officials tonight: Bert Smith, Darren George, and Courtney Green. 24th meeting between these two programs. VCU leads the all-time series 19-4, but the last time they played here at the Siegel Center 2 years ago, and GW won by 2.
Well, you can expect both these teams primarily man-to-man. If there's going to be some zone, probably it'll come from GW.
Lazar Djokovic over to Barry Evans. This is a VCU team that's averaging 83 points per game as Jadrian Tracy's off the mark, but VCU keeps it alive.
Yeah, I was surprised, Andrew. They haven't averaged over 80 since 74, 75.
And counted in one early for Barry Evans.
Barry Evans been struggling a little bit lately. Nice spin move there. Help comes late, and he's able to finish it.
Foul is on Trey Autry, and now Evans at the free throw line where he's 50% on the season. First year at VCU after coming over with Phil Martelli Jr. from Bryant a season ago. GW coming off a big win over George Mason on Friday night, a game you saw on CBS Sports Network. It was a 2-point game at the half, and then the Revs outscored Mason 40-23 in the second half, as that three won't go for Christian Jones.
And that's one thing about GW. They really can shoot. They're one of the best shooting teams in the Atlantic 10. They lead the league in attempts, too. They make over 10 a game.
Evans, not this time, tipped around and corralled by Autry. Here's Luke Hunger, who's been on such a great run, and his shot knocked out of bounds by Lazar Djokovic. It'll stay with GW.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what this kid has done in those last 3 games in particular, taking Rafael Castro's place, who, by the way, is one of the top 3 players in the Atlantic 10.
And now that previous play is under review.
Previous play is under review. VCU has challenged the out-of-bounds call on the floor.
Wow, early challenge for Phil Martelli Jr.
That's probably, I can't say for sure, I'm going to guess that's a record this year in Division I. No question.
1 minute and 19 seconds in. Phil Martelli Jr. throws the proverbial red flag.
And it's not.
Oh, that was an easy one.
We'll step aside as the officials confirm. We're back right after this.
Thinking of updating my kitchen. Yeah? Yes. This year, we are finally updating our kitchen. Doing subway tile and an ivory or eggshell. Cream, maybe bone. Don't get me started on quartz. Big island. You ever heard of a waterfall county?
For everyone who talks about doing that thing,
and over there,
but never does that thing,
sweet little breakfast nook.
Chase has financial guidance.
See how you can start saving to make this happen.
Really?
Really?
Really.
At home or in person.
You could also check out a Chase Money Skills workshop.
That's guidance from Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Well, you hear it right there. A successful challenge by Phil Martelli Jr.
I was going to say, if it wasn't successful after 119, Andrew, somebody's losing his job tonight on that bench.
Well, they do have a tablet guy, Harrison Chipkin, who got off to a bit of a rough start in the challenge department, but now he's starting to build some momentum. So Martelli Jr. trusts him.
Big guts doing that. I don't care what you got in front of you.
That's a good point. That's a good point. VCU, as we told you, beat rival Richmond on Saturday night, led by as many as 23. Got a little bit tight towards the end, but the Rams held on.
You know, this GW team is very talented, and when they get Castro back, they are as dangerous a team as in that league.
Nick Lewis from the outside. That's the A-10 Rookie of the Week for 3.
And he's going to be the A-10 Rookie of the Year. 4th time he was Rookie of the Week. He has been so good, and he's starting to shoot the ball better and better.
Last week he averaged 10.5 points per game, but also 7.5 rebounds per game as Hunger misses. Offensive rebound, and Hunger lays it in.
And that's one thing that GW is really good at. They are a great offensive rebounding team. Number 35 in the nation in offensive rebound percentage. They get to the offensive glass.
Here's Hunger again, defended by Tracy. Hunger getting good position, nice feed, and a reverse lay-in for Christian Jones.
Well, they fell asleep there. They switched on to Hunger. He had the smaller guy on him, but he dished it underneath. They weren't ready for it, VCU.
Lewis is ready for another 3. Aaron Gurin, and we have a foul that's called against VCU. That's going to go on Tracy.
Well, you're going to see Hunger here back Tracy down. Djokovic comes over and loses his man behind him, Christian Jones.
But Lewis with his second 3, 32% three-point shooter, but as Steve pointed out, starting to shoot it better from the outside. As inside, GW cannot finish. A scramble for it and taken away by Evans. Evans looking to go coast to coast. Now finds a trailing Djokovic. Fakes the 3, and he is fouled on the drive.
And that's what he does. This kid gets to the basket. He's number 1 in the Atlantic 10 in free throw attempts. Number 1 in made free throws. He takes it to the basket and gets fouled all the time. And you can see the keys here. GW, they've got to rebound because that's what they do. Transition defense. Got to get back against this VCU team. VCU defend the 3. We talked about how much GW loves to shoot that 3 ball. They got to get back, locate, and stop the 3.
Caputo in his 4th season now with GW. 1-2 in his career against the Rams. GW took a 90-minute bus ride from Washington, D.C. to Richmond, Virginia yesterday afternoon. They'll head home right after the game, and then they have a week off before they play at LaSalle. From the corner, 3 on the way for Garrett. Johnson's not there, and Tracy clears.
Which is why I don't know what they're going to do with Castro, but they may want to sit him because he gets some extra rest and have a whole week off. We'll see.
Jennings from the outside. Brandon Jennings hits the 3, just his 16th of the year.
Yeah, that's not what he does. But listen, I don't want anybody to think this VCU team, they make 9.5 threes a game. So they're in the top 4 in the Atlantic 10 and making threes also.
Johnson drives by Tracy, and Johnson, too easy, able to lay it in.
Yeah, this kid's a heck of a story. What he's gone through from a physical standpoint is unbelievable.
Did not play the 22-23 season due to a benign tumor in his left hip. He was with Princeton at the time and did not play last year after a torn ACL. Johnson now a big part of this GW team as that 3 won't go, but it goes out of bounds. It'll stay with VCU. And takes us to a timeout. Burgess, he was a part of that Final Four team, now the director of recruiting with VCU, and such a special part of this program's history. We met with Phil Martelli Jr. before the game, and he told us, look, the fans will honor that team at halftime, but we can honor them with the way that we compete tonight, because that was the foundation they laid for our program, and we want to honor them that way tonight against GW.
Shaka was wreaking havoc.
Shot clock down to 4. Bell wide open from the outside.
I mean, they've taken every shot they've taken except one has been from the three-point line. They've already made 5.
Bell with just his 15th three of the year. And a 10-point VCU lead, which is now down to 7 after Luke Hunger.
You know what? I said it in the open. Here's a guy who made 3 threes against George Mason. He only had 15 in 4 years before that. Now he makes another one.
Djokovic, tough shot. And that's an air ball. And he knows that was a forced shot that he's not happy with. Autry banks it in. Trey Autry. How about that 3 for Autry, who over his last 2 games was just 2 of 11 from deep. So back-to-back triples for GW. They pull within 4. Evans gets some separation and finishes.
This kid had 9 points in his last 4 games, and now he's coming out here a little aggressive tonight.
Already 4 points early. Jones inside, will send it back out.
This is what makes VCU dangerous. Djokovic can switch to a guard and stay with him. You take a look here. We're going to stop it. Right there, stop it. That's why when you get in the lane, bad things happen to the defense. You're able to kick it out to an open three-point shooter. You got to contain the dribble. The most important thing defensively is one-on-one, you must contain the dribble. If you have to help all the time, you can't be a good defensive team.
Tyrone Marshall checks in for GW and receives the inbounds pass. Autry fires up another 3. This one won't go. Hunger cleans it up down low. 7 points early for Luke Hunger.
I mean, how about this guy? He averaged 8 and 5 before Castro got hurt.
His 6th consecutive start in place of Castro, who has been sidelined with the foot injury. Hill step back 3, no good, with the rebound for Jennings. Hill, great feed. Wallard finishes down low.
Again, the dribble penetration, that's what will kill you, and it hurt GW again.
Johnson for 3, it's good. Rain in 3s early here at the Siegel Center. Both teams hitting from the outside.
Great help there.
Bell to the ground, that's a travel.
Garrett Johnson did a great job of coming over and helping on that.
First turnover by either team.
Great offensive rebound by Jennings. Offensive rebound, drive, layup.
Ahmad Noel is checked in for VCU. A combined 7 threes in the first 7 minutes here in Richmond. Marshall, physical down low. Nice move and the finish.
Yeah, this kid transferred from Western Kentucky. He had a game against Rhode Island a couple of games ago. He had 15, 6, 5 assists, and 3 steals. He's a good all-around player. They don't have much bench tonight.
Boo Benjamin out for the 4th consecutive game with a knee injury as Bell cannot finish in tight. Tipped around. Bell still fighting for it. Noel had it, lost it. Out of bounds to GW.
GW probably only going to play 7 guys tonight. That's what they did against George Mason. Only played 7.
See a strong move by Tyrone Marshall, the senior from Nashville. 1-point game here, first half on CBS Sports Network. 13-4 run for the Revolutionaries. Johnson, not this time. And tipped all the way back out to Trey Dinkins.
We've seen so many threes, and it's a good cut there.
And that goes out of bounds, a turnover by the Revolutionaries. And that takes us to immediate timeout. Well, VCU had Bones Highland doing the half-court shot. He almost made a couple.
It looked too easy. I said, this guy's a player. I mean, I don't know who it was. Now I know who it was. I'm watching out there. I said, what? They didn't pull this guy out of the crowd to do this. No way.
Look at VCU's tournament profile. Our CBS Sports Bracketology has them as a part of the first 4 out. Their net ranking 47. Lost a quad 1 win because Virginia Tech dropped out of quad 1 territory. But when you look at their resume, what do you think, Lap?
I know, I tell you, the resume is a little tough, but when I watch this team, this is an NCAA tournament team to me. And I understand how it works with the quad 1s and all that, and the Virginia Tech thing really hurt them when they lost to Florida State by 20 at home the other day. That hurt them. But maybe USF climbs back and they get a quad 1 win out of that. So they got some things going on, but they are a good team, and I think they should be in the NCAA tournament.
And don't forget, a huge matchup coming up on Friday as VCU visits St. Louis, which has won 18 in a row, entering tonight against Rhode Island. And a foul is called on the Dinkins three-point attempt.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen all these threes go down in this game, and Dinkins is probably the best. He doesn't have one yet. He's probably the best three-point shooter in the game. He's made 62. He's 4th in the league in made threes. Wow.
Called on Noel. Phil Martelli Jr. not happy with that one. In the process, you send a very good free throw shooter to the line, and Dinkins 84% on the season.
And you know, I don't know what's going to happen with Castro. Castro has played unbelievable this year. He's averaging 16 and 9. He's one of 5 Division I players with over 100 assists, 100 steals, and 100 blocks in his career. This kid has been really, really good.
With Castro, GW averages 85 points per game. Without him, 74 points per game. He did get everyone excited today by posting on social media a gif of making it appear that he would return tonight. They have just been messing with everyone.
You know, when you lead your team in 4 categories, you're an important guy.
7 straight points for the Revolutionaries. They knocked that one out of bounds. It'll stay with VCU. It'll be Terrence Hill to inbound.
They are aggressively went after Hill on that pick and roll.
Bell attacks the paint, and that one halfway down and out. VCU in a scoring drought, approaching 2.5 minutes. Hunger looking for 3. And Bell the rebound.
Both these teams aren't shy about getting the ball off the floor quickly.
Ward spinning with the left hand. Talented move by Tyrell Ward.
This kid, him and Michael Bell during this 9-game win streak have been terrific. Well, this is the 5th best bench in the country. So they got plenty of firepower coming off that bench.
They averaged just under 36 points per game off the bench.
A lot of weapons.
Hunger working on Djokovic. Physical down low. And offensive foul is called on Luke Hunger.
Yeah, he hooked him with that. The off arm.
2 minutes for hooking on Luke Hunger, who grew up playing hockey.
Imagine him on skates.
Well, he was so big that he reminded everyone of Zdeno Chara, who was also very big, and that is why Luke Hunger wears the number 33.
Call on the floor is a common foul. We are reviewing for a potential flagrant 1.
I'm guessing they're looking to see what he did with that off arm.
Yeah, got up high around the face.
You know, that's, you know, here's the thing. If you're the referee, you're sitting there saying, what was that for? Like, what was that doing? It's one thing if you do it around his waist or his chest to get by him. He did it at his head. I don't know. They may call that.
Hunger, a native of Montreal. First 3 years at Northwestern before transferring here to GW.
That could be upgraded. You know, the referees have become very protective on shots to the head and the groin area, and that was pretty high up. Right there. That's a tough one. I got to be honest with you. That's like a 50-50 for me.
Still some discussion among Bert Smith, Darren George, and Courtney Green, our officiating crew tonight. Common foul is called, so they are not going to upgrade it.
I think that's a good call. I mean, like I said, I could have gone either way on that.
So the foul goes against Hunger, and it'll be VCU basketball as we approach.
After review of the previous play, the call on the floor stands. It's a common foul.
All right, there you have it. Midway point of the first half here in Richmond.
Both these teams can really score. I'll tell you, we're seeing that now. We're talking about, I don't know if this pace is going to keep up, but we're on pace for 80s.
Number 2 and 3 scoring teams in the A-10 in terms of points per game. Evans, oh, what a move to spin free and score.
Spun right around Tyrone Marshall there. Evans coming out very aggressive tonight. But that's what he does. He's not a three-point shooter, but he can go off the dribble.
Dinkins 3 off the mark and saved before it goes out by Hill. Lewis wants to push up ahead. Djokovic in transition. Hill's pass deflected right to us at the table. And Evans will inbound. Evans already with 6 points tonight for the Rams.
Terrence Hill coming off a 20-point game, leading scorer off the bench in the country. Oh, another move.
Ward leaves it for Evans. Eyeing the shot clock, 2 to shoot. Djokovic puts it up and hits.
You know, it's only his 15th of the year, but he does not shoot a bad percentage, so obviously he can make that. That was not an easy one.
5th 3 of the first half for VCU. Autry trying to counter. That shot may have been partially deflected. Hunger can't scoop it up down low. Evans again in the open floor. Evans again spinning. Evans again scoring.
I'll tell you, he's spinning all over the place like a top tonight.
It's Barry ball early in Richmond, a 9-0 VCU run. Johnson wide open. That's a deep 3. Jones, nobody blocked him out. Down low, but he lost it. Turns it over. Evans nearly giving it back. Evans to the ground now, looking for help. Gets it over to Ward. 4 on 4. Ward to the corner. Now Ward for 3. That would have blown the top off the place.
And this is how VCU wants to play.
Johnson with the left hand.
Really
strong
good move.
take.
This kid's a good player. You know, he was going to be the Rookie of the Year in the Atlantic 10 until he got hurt a couple of years ago. Oh.
How about this? No, it almost went in too for Terrence Hill Jr. They are fired up here at the Siegel Center. Another great crowd on hand as VCU has hit 4 of its last 5, while GW has cooled off a bit, just 1 for their last 7.
Yeah, the pace of the game, Andrew, is VCU's all the way, and that's how a guy like Barry Evans is much better when the game is going up and down than he is in the half court. And that's why VCU is really doing a good job, and their half court defense has been pretty good for the most part. They've got GW right now 43% from the field.
VCU plus 11 with Evans on the floor tonight. He's got 8 points, 2 assists, and 1 rebound.
And as we said, that's after Barry Evans having 9 points in his last 3 games.
Hill makes a pair. He'll come out. And Brandon Jennings, the Richmond native, is back on the floor.
You know, you got to love VCU's depth. We talked about their bench, how highly rated it is. They got guys off the bench that can really score.
And one thing Phil Martelli Jr. also looks for is not just production off that bench. He looks at bench energy. He thinks that's a very important part of the team, making sure the guys sitting over there are into it as Marshall converts.
Yeah, you know what? I would always have one of my assistants looking for that. You want to make sure everybody's into it. That's part of being on the team, whether you're in the rotation or not.
That's one thing I never have to worry about with you. I don't have to watch and make sure you're into it. I know you're into it.
You don't have to have somebody watching?
No, I trust you. Shot clock down to 7, and it's Djokovic eyeing the shot clock. Djokovic had it knocked away, going up, and they're going to say he was shooting.
Wow, see, there's a situation where you got to not stick your hand in, even if you make a clean play. And I don't know if it was or it wasn't, but you got to just get your hands up. He's going to take a tough shot here, guaranteed. Yeah, it's a foul. I mean, no reason for that. He's going to his left. Shot clock's winding down. Get a hand up and let him shoot it.
That's the second foul on Jean-Aaron Guerin. He's been such an integral part of GW in conference play, coming off 16 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and no turnovers on Friday against George Mason.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's got a triple-double under his, you know, it was only I think it was the second one in the history of GW. I mean, that was a big-time game he had against Duquesne.
18 points, 10 boards, 10 assists. The only other triple-double in program history, Carl Elliott back in 2007 against Temple. Barry Evans back on the floor.
And now this is their small team. So you got Evans and Michael Bell, who are both 6'8", but really athletic with those other 3 guards. That's why VCU is really good, because they give you different looks. Play the big guy, play small, and now they're playing the small, quick, athletic team.
Johnson handing off Hunger, and he is fouled going up. And you've got to imagine at this point, Lab, 6:47 to go first half. If Castro was going to play tonight, he would have been in by now.
Absolutely. You're not putting him in the second half after sitting out all these games and not playing this first half. I'm guessing he's not playing.
When we met with Chris Caputo earlier today, he did say, look, we've got to factor in the week off we have coming up, getting him 100% right for the stretch run in the regular season and then the A-10 tournament, which is in Pittsburgh this year.
And I'll tell you this, and he played like this last year. He had to be one of the most improved players in the country last year. I mean, we saw him at Providence a bunch, and I never thought that he would be this like he is now. It's a credit to Chris Caputo and that staff.
A wave off the basket. An offensive foul is called. A push off against Nick Lewis.
He did. He stuck that arm out. That's a foul. That's an offensive foul. When you extend that arm, they're going to call it. Really good defense by Michael Bell. I'll tell you, the team they have out there now defensively is really tough.
Jones, runner from the baseline, no good. Evans with the rebound. He wants to run again. Had it popped away by Jones. Good defensive play by Christian Jones, the sophomore from Stratford, Connecticut.
Evans and Bell are like bookends. If you look at those two kids from the back, you think you're looking at the same guy. It's 6'8", athletic, long arms.
Tracy dribbles in, up fake, sends it back out to Jennings. Jennings taking some contact, and he gets it to go.
I mean, Jennings, first of all, he's one of the best defensive players in the Atlantic 10, but this kid can take it to the basket. We've already seen him make a three tonight, too, which is not his strength, but a really good player.
Just a sophomore from the St. Christopher School here in Richmond. His mother did her undergrad and her master's from VCU, and now Brandon following in mom's footsteps.
I mean, all right, you haven't seen these guys as much as me, but they look like an NCAA tournament team.
No doubt. Playing great. 9 in a row for VCU. They have not lost since January 10th at George Mason.
Now, they got a long way to go here, but they go to St. Louis next.
St. Louis playing at Rhode Island tonight. Trying to make it 19 wins in a row.
Good job by Terrell Ward to cut that baseline off.
Shot clock down to 3. Dinkins puts one up and hits.
Hey,
with the shot clock winding down.
If you're GW and you're Phil Martelli Jr., what are you going to say? That's great defense. Guy made a tough shot.
But now a turnover. Marshall the other way. Marshall races in, and he throws it down. The lead is down to 5.
This Tyrone Marshall from Western Kentucky, he's really talented kid too, athletic.
Jennings, another 3.
That's a big bonus, I got to tell you.
15 threes entering the night, and back-to-back here for Jennings.
And I don't think GW should, that was not a good shot, because you shoot quick, this is what happens.
Great feed, Jennings to Evans. Approaching 4 minutes to go in the first half. Terrence Hill at the scorer's table for VCU. Djokovic joins him. Johnson, yes! Big step back triple for Garrett Johnson. And Chris Caputo calls timeout with 3:47 to go. Hey, coming up on AT&T at the half, Brent Stover, Wally Zerbiak, Emeka Okafor, and Gary Parrish will get you caught up in this game and all the other action, including a tight one between 18th ranked St. Louis and Rhode Island going on right now. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half.
Well, it's so important that you sprint back. You're going to stop right there. Right now, Hunger's in trouble. Plus, Garrett doesn't get into the lane. And that's why they're able, first of all, Hunger gets stuck on the wrong side. Garrett Johnson jumps in there a little bit late. And that's why they get that layup there. But good movement without the ball by VCU.
Johnson in double figures with 10 points. He's now scored at least 10 in 10 of the last 12 games for GW.
All right, GW's played zone about 2% of the time this year. They are now in a zone. Not a bad idea to try something, especially when you're only playing 7 guys.
See how VCU adjusts. Jones got a hand on that one. Evans gets it back. Ward a corner 3. And tipped right to Jones. Jennings tries to tie him up, but Jones able to hold strong.
See, I look at VCU as a team that's at their best when they're going off the dribble. The zone is not going to allow them to get to the basket off the dribble. But if they penetrate right, they'll get some threes.
Marshall, good look. Jones, corner 3. Evans up ahead, Ward. Jones trying to get back. Ward wins that race.
Yeah, that long rebound was a killer.
VCU shooting 58%, GW at 46%. As a foul is called with 2.5 to go. Tyrell Ward is 3 for 3 early on.
Evans with that rebound, and Ward is gone. And you know, the other thing that's hurt GW in this game is Aaron Gurin has been out with those 2 fouls, and he has been really a non-factor in this game, and he was tremendous the other day against George Mason. He had 16, 10, and 6, 7 for 8 from the field, so they miss him not being out there.
That was on Terrence Hill of VCU. Dinkins, that's a deep 3.
One of the best in the A-10. You can't give him that kind of space. He's not that tall. You got to get up on him. Make him put the ball on the floor.
Wonder why he wears number 3.
Gee, even I got that one.
Ward, nice
guy.
touch.
You know, in the first 10, 12 games of the year, he was having trouble getting off the bench.
Phil Martelli Jr. said he put him on the scout team back in December just to try to get some confidence, get some type of flow back before getting him more minutes. And boy, did that move pay off for VCU.
He is some athlete.
Johnson wide open again. But Ward the rebound. And Hill surveying the scene. And a foul is called. That's the 7th team foul on GW. So that'll be a 1-and-1 for the Rams.
And one of the things that VCU does, they're number 12 in the country in free throw attempts a game. They get to the free throw line because you see how they play. They push it. They got guys that can go off the dribble, tough to guard, get to the foul line a lot, 26 times a game.
Foul was on Garrett Johnson. That's his 2nd. So Chris Caputo already with a short bench has Johnson with 2 and Aaron Gurin with 2. Jennings makes the front end of the 1-and-1.
I think they need to be a little bit more methodical on offense. You know, I think they're shooting a little quick, and that's what's allowing GW to get up in transition. I think they got to slow this thing down a little bit, especially, well, there's only 1:32 to go, especially with those 2 guys out. They need to take it slow.
Hunger will take that 3. Man, is he looking good.
Unbelievable. 5 threes in his last 2 games. 15 in 4 years coming in.
Incredible story for GW. And Coach Caputo told us, look, whenever Castro gets back, he's going to play both of these guys together even more. He can't take Hunger off the floor.
Oh, I mean, they found something that's really going to help them. And the fact that he can make a 3.
Dinkins is hot.
They went under that screen that time.
And Phil Martelli Jr. calls timeout. It's a 6-0 run for GW to cut the deficit down to 4.
Okay, Richardson's, the holidays are done. It's February.
We thought so too, but then Verizon just gave us their best deal.
4 new iPhone 17s, all on them.
Now's the time for the best deals at Verizon. Like 4 iPhone 17s, all on us. No trade-in needed.
Love that spirit, folks.
100 years ago, no one would insure cars for military members. So a group of soldiers backed each other. Today, we're still serving the military and their families with those same values our founders shared. Because at USAA, we take care of our own.
VCU leading by 4. But take a look at Javier Jennings gets caught up on Hunger there, and that's what allows Dinkins to get such an easy 3 for him, one of the best in the conference.
GW averages 10 threes per game. They have 8 in the first half. And 42 seconds remain until halftime.
I mean, it looked like, you know, GW was going to be in trouble. Now they got this thing back to 4 again. If they get a stop here, they get the last shot of the half. And they're going with this zone. They got to get a rebound. That's the hard thing about the zone. Got to rebound out of it.
Jennings drives baseline, and the floater not there. Hunger the rebound. Shot clock turned off. and GW can hold for the final shot.
I'll tell you, if they get out of here down 4, 3, or 2, they'll have really done something.
Marshall nearly had it poked away. 3 seconds left. Marshall scores, and that is how the first half will come to an end. What a furious close to the first half for the Revolutionaries.
Boy, that last 114 for GW was unbelievable. You're going to see Marshall go one-on-one at 6'8", very athletic. He finishes it. Unbelievable end of the half for GW.
An 8-0 run for GW to close out the first half.
Each team only 3 turnovers, so a very well-played game so far, no doubt. But, you know, that VCU had that big lead with 1:14 to go. GW finishes on an 8-0 run, and all of a sudden you got yourself a 2-point game.
This year, when tied or trailing at the half, GW is 0-9, trying to buck that trend as we start the second half here at the Siegel Center.
It'd be interesting to see how Aaron Gourin starts the second half, because he sat out a lot with those 2 fouls in the first half, and he's an important guy.
It did not attempt a shot in the first half, but he does start the second half as VCU tries to win its 10th consecutive game. Here is Aaron Gourin. They work it around to Jones, and GW takes the lead.
And that was all Aaron Gourin. He started that. He drew the defense. They had the help on him, and it left the next guy open.
Now an 11-0 run for the Revolutionaries. Djokovic, defended by Johnson. Djokovic, too strong, and Aaron Gourin clears it off the glass. Hunger, rejected by Evans. Great defense by Barry Evans, looking to go end-to-end. Evans all the way, and he's fouled. Certainly can make the case Barry Evans has been the best Ram on the evening.
No doubt about it. Him and Jennings have been the 2 best. But you take a look, Aaron Gourin here. We're going to stop right there. He does a good job of finding the guy in the corner, Johnson, and then now the VCU defense is just scrambling, and they cannot get out to Christian Jones in time.
That foul was on Garrett Johnson, and that is his 3rd foul early here in the second half. And if you're just joining us, GW again without Boo Boo Benjamin, and Rafael Castro listed as questionable, but does not appear that he will play for the 6th consecutive game. So a short bench once again for Chris Caputo.
And I was going to say they've got to get Garrett Johnson out of the game with those 3 fouls, and they're going to do it. Tyrone Marshall's at the table.
Aaron Gourin is pushed and draws the contact.
This kid's a good player. He averaged 14 points a game last year at Hofstra.
Second foul called on Nick Lewis.
He's already in the first minute and 17 seconds. He's made his presence felt already.
Really a stat sheet stuffer. We talked with Chris Caputo earlier today, and he just said, look, this guy does it all for us. And that was witnessed by the triple-double against Duquesne. Johnson does come out with the 3 fouls. Marshall on the floor. One out of 2 for the junior from Venezuela.
Let's see if they can keep VCU out of transition. That's where they got hurt.
Evans entry pass to Djokovic, and he turns it over.
Really good double team there, very quick.
Autry cuts, and he is fouled. He was tied up going to the basket. That's going to go on Jadrian Tracy.
You watch what they do with Djokovic here on the baseline. He's going to catch it on the baseline, and they do a great job. Stop it right there. That is a great double team. They have everything cut off right here. Here comes the steal by Marshall. Really good job there on defense by GW.
Marshall bounces it into Hunger, working on Bell. Wow. And foul is called on Bell.
This kid's not playing like somebody who's like, you know, it looks like he's been doing this forever. That was a really good move there. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He gets the spin, gives the up fake. Really good job by Hunger.
Hunger is 3 rebounds away from his 5th double-double of the year. He has more double-doubles this year than double-figure scoring games in his entire Northwestern career, which spanned 58 games. 13 points tonight to go along with 7 rebounds.
Well, he has more points in his last 5 games than he had in 25 games at Northwestern last year.
(51-48) in favor of GW.
If anything, with Castro being out, they have found themselves another player. Now it's going to be a little challenging to play them together because they haven't done it.
Good defense again by GW, creates the turnover. Aaron Curran on the drive. That one's rejected. Hunger tracks down the rebound.
They closed out on Autry so fast there because they know how good a shooter he is.
Marshall coughs it up. Ward in transition. Ward trying to go all the way. High off glass and the foul. What a play by Tyrell Ward.
If you make a mistake against this team, they will make you pay in transition because they have so many guys that are athletic and can bring the ball up themselves. They don't have to pass it. He makes a steal, he takes it all the way to the basket and one for himself.
And Steve, it's just gone final at Rhode Island. URI upsets St. Louis. So the 18-game win streak is history for St. Louis. What's your takeaway?
That's not a good loss for the league. The league really needed, because now St. Louis got hurt there. Now VCU goes, it still could be a great win for them, but not as good had they won that game. That hurts, I think, the league.
Marshall with the jam. Friday night is VCU at St. Louis.
And I mean, I think St. Louis is safe. I'm not saying they're not, but it doesn't make, if they lose to VCU, doesn't make it as good a win for VCU as they would like.
Evans offensive rebound, but could not grab it. And Johnson back on the floor. We have a tie-up. It will go to VCU.
You know, besides that, Andrew, they lose to a team that's not having a great year on top of it. It's not like they lost to VCU or lost, you know what I mean? So, which wouldn't be as bad a loss. It's a tough loss. It was on the road, but still a tough loss.
Lewis put back, and he is fouled. Well, let's update the standings in the A-10, giving St. Louis just its 2nd loss overall and 1st of the year in conference play.
Yeah, all of a sudden now, that game on Saturday, not that it wasn't big already, but it's big.
Phil Martelli Jr. told us before the game that he doesn't talk to his team about the NCAA tournament and the bubble. It's a next game approach for VCU and Martelli Jr. But he did say he's got some college basketball junkies on his team, and they are obsessed with crunching the numbers and who's winning, who's losing. So he knows his team is aware of it, but his messaging does not revolve around the NCAA tournament.
Plus these kids, there's like 600 bracketologists now. They're on the Twitter or whatever, seeing what everybody's saying about them. But right now, let me tell you something. Forget about St. Louis. They got their hands full with George Washington.
No doubt. And he told us that. Why would we talk about March when we have to beat GW tonight.
This is a good team playing without their best player.
Jones locates Dinkins. And the mayor is in charge tonight. Dinkins has 14.
You're dating yourself a little bit there, I have to say.
To make sure you're still paying attention. Evans for 3. Can't answer. And Johnson tracks down the rebound.
I mean, Dinkins has been on fire in this game. He's 4 for 4 from the three-point line.
He just thought about one from the logo, but thought better of it. Now he's going to take a deep one.
Close the logo.
And that was a heat check gone wrong, but Hunger inside. And Phil Martelli Jr. calls timeout. GW is firing on all cylinders, and they had 10 threes tonight. GW on a 12-4 run since this second half has begun, and you look at the balance, scoring 4 players in double figures.
Yeah, and the big thing is they've gotten VCU out of transition. You've got to try and make VCU set up in the half court. That's not their strength. They're not bad there, but that's not where they really can bury you.
GW has 7 players who average at least 8 points per game. That's tied for the most in the country. But Luke Hunger entered the night at 7.9 points per game, so you got a feeling they're going to have 8, averaging at least 8 a game, which will be the most in the country.
Yeah, every guy they play is capable of having a big game. And when Castro comes back, well, what a catch.
That's unbelievable. That was not a great pass by Evans, but it was an amazing catch.
That was a catch, a gather, and a finish, showing his athleticism, Tyrell Ward.
13 points for Ward, double figures now in 5 of his last 8 games. GW coughs it up, 3-on-2 break. Here goes Ward again. Ward for 2 more.
Transition. Ward finishing around the basket there. That's what they want.
And here come the fans at the Siegel Center. Life-altering, according to some. Hunger trying to quiet the crowd, and he does. And he tells them to be quiet.
This guy's been unbelievable. How about another 3 of all the things from him, too?
His 3rd 3 of the night, matching a career high. Hill trying to answer that. He cannot. Bell knocked it out of bounds, and it will be GW basketball when we come back. How about the end-to-end action here at the Siegel Center?
VCU a little bit slower in this half, allowing them to have this 5-point lead. But this is a very good offensive team, and I hate to say it again, playing without their best player.
Really quick in this half, outscoring VCU 15-8. And you look at the threes, 11 of them made by GW. They set a school record with 17 earlier this year against Richmond. They're on pace to shatter the school record for most made threes in a season.
It is not a stretch to say when these guys are whole, they can beat anybody in this league. They had St. Louis beat at St. Louis.
That was in late January. They only lost by 3. Shot clock inside 10. Hunger fakes the 3. Steps back. Shot clock winding down. Johnson throws it up. No good. And the rebound is pulled out by Jones. 8th offensive rebound for GW, and then a foul committed way away from the basket by Tyrell Ward. That's his first. Another foul. Brandon Jennings commits that foul. It's his second. And that's 5 team fouls now against VCU with 13:37 to go.
I'm going to bet that Chris Caputo's waiting for the under 10 to get Aaron Gurn back in that game with the 3 fouls.
Dinkins to Hunger, left hand, he's fouled. So 3 fouls committed by VCU on that possession for GW.
And a really good dive to the basket by Hunger that time, quick. They set the screen on top, and he runs to the basket. Help comes a little bit late.
And now Hunger at the line, and GW will go to the line for the rest of the game. Johnson comes out, Trey Autry returns. Autry, the son of Syracuse head coach Red Autry.
Another guy I didn't get, by the way.
I didn't realize he was on the list.
He was on the list when I was an assistant. Yes, he was.
Okay, that counts.
And I recruited him and Malik Sealy. They were on the same team. They say Nicholas the Tolentine.
Didn't get either one.
Nope.
They have a whistle way away from the ball. And that's going to be a foul committed by Christian Jones.
Yeah, they had the #1 high school team in the country. Red Autry, Brian Reese, Malik Sealy. Syracuse, North Carolina, and St. John. No Villanova. You notice that?
I noticed that. I picked that up. You know, Lap, Terrence Hill's been very quiet tonight. Only 2 points as we have a tie-up, and it'll be GW basketball.
Not only quiet, but just like not part of the game. And this, as much as I've seen him, it's the first time I've seen him like this.
0 for 3 for 2 points for VCU's leading scorer, averaging just under 15 a night. Coming off 20 points on Saturday in the win over rival Richmond.
Their defense has not been nearly as disruptive. This is another layup.
Hunger did not field the pass cleanly, so they have to reset with 10 to shoot. Dinkins inside, throws up a wild shot, and it goes in. And everyone here at the Siegel Center thought it should have been a travel. Instead, it's 2 points for GW. Djokovic with the jam. And maybe that's something to get this crowd fired up.
They've got to get their half-court defense going again. Right now, GW is cutting them apart in the half-court.
Jones for 3.
Tough shot.
And out of bounds to the Rams.
Oh, Hunger insists on them challenging this.
It looks like GW might.
Yeah, they challenged it.
Either way, it's immediate timeout. And he has to do that pretty quickly.
That's why he did it. He had to do it before they go to the referees, go to the table to signal timeout.
I don't think he got it in time.
Really? I thought he was pretty quick with it.
Wow, and he's caught. One of the assistants got called for a technical foul, I'm being told, on GW. So a lot to sort out here, because we know that Caputo was trying to challenge, but it appears that in the process, an assistant coach received a technical foul. We are back, and official Darren George is with us at the scores table, just trying to set everything straight, Lap.
Well, the assistant coach was teed, and the referee made it very clear that I've told him 3 times already, because I'm sitting here saying, well, you had to, but he said, I've talked to him 3 times already, and that was it. So he got teed. It's going to be a successful challenge so that GW is going to retain the ball, but VCU is going to shoot the 2 free throws for the technical foul now.
How about all that?
That's a lot.
We sorted it out. So the technical free throws will occur first for Terrence Hill. And then we'll go to the other end of the floor where it will be GW basketball, a successful challenge by Caputo.
They were challenging the out-of-bounds call, and Hunger was involved in it, and he said it right away.
Hill, an 87% free throw shooter.
I never had an assistant get a technical foul, I'll tell you that.
I wonder why.
Oh,
They wouldn't.
let me tell you something. I don't know if, seriously, on one hand I can count players got technical, except maybe like hanging on the rim. I'm talking about like for cursing at a rep or something.
That was the play that was challenged. You could see last touch by VCU, so GW ball after Hill made 1 of 2. As we talked about a short time ago, he's been off tonight. See if he can get it going here down the stretch. Marshall plowing his way by Bell, but could not finish, and then he commits the foul. Yeah, you get a sense the momentum is changing just a little bit inside this arena.
You know, that technical foul was, you know, it's... I mean, they were lucky. Hill's such a good free throw shooter.
65-59. Here's Hill, splitting the D, finds a cutting Bell, who's fouled. That's the Terrence Hill we're accustomed to seeing.
Yeah, because he is really good with the ball. He's one of their top guys when it comes to assist to turnover ratio. He splits this right there. Humber didn't make a real strong effort to stop that, but he does split it.
Second foul on Marshall sends Michael Bell to the free throw line. And he's just 52% on the year from the free throw stripe. Johnson and Aaron Gurin back on the floor for GW.
Both with 3.
A little pressure now from the VCU defense.
And they haven't really done that much, and usually they pick up full a lot more than this. Oh, terrible pass.
Ward now telling his coach to challenge. He thought it was last touch by Aaron Gurin.
Wow, I didn't think it was that clear. You better hurry up.
Oh, and they can't make a decision.
I think the refs got to play the ball.
No, now they're going to challenge. They did wait a little bit.
I don't think that was correct. And Chris Caputo, I think, agrees with me.
Here's a look at the play. VCU is challenging. Called out of bounds. Last touch by Ward.
I mean, I think that's off Ward. Now, I mean, from that angle, that's how it looked to me. And he insisted on challenging. Let's see here.
I'm not so sure there's anything that's conclusive that shows that it was touched by Aaron Gurin last.
Yeah, they might not be able to overturn this. I still think it was off Ward.
Unsuccessful coach's challenge. Unsuccessful. After review of the previous play, we have an unsuccessful coach's challenge. The ball does stay connected to the VCU player's hands, so it's George Washington's ball on the side.
So they lose the challenge and they lose a timeout with 11:20 to go.
Don't have a challenge left, lose the timeout. I thought, right in front of me, I said, boy, I don't know if I would challenge that one.
It was a convincing argument by Ward. He was adamant
Very
that they should challenge.
And I got to be honest with you, I thought the referees waited a little bit too long to give that challenge. And really, Phil Martelli should wish that they didn't give him that challenge.
Good defense by Djokovic, got a hand on it. Forcing the turnover. Hill up ahead, Jennings. Djokovic down there. Here's Bell on the outside. And now they'll slow things down.
Pretty good recovery by GW transition.
Oh, Ward spinning, too strong off glass. Tipped right to Bell, who puts it up and in with the foul. Trey Autry picks up his third.
Well, you know what? Ward didn't make it. But by getting in the lane there, he created so much havoc that they were use the word havoc.
Yeah, very nice.
They had to get it. They were able to get on the glass because everybody was out of rebounding position.
Man, these are happy problems for Phil Martelli Jr., but when you have such a deep bench, you're trying to figure out what matchup is working that night. Sometimes it's not easy to put the right 5 guys on the floor.
No, and developing chemistry for a big group is much harder than if you have 7 or 8 guys and everybody knows what the story is. It's hard.
6 straight points for the Rams. It's a 1-possession game. Autry fakes the 3, dribbles right in. Good defense by VCU. They create another turnover.
And this is what GW was not doing for a while.
Djokovic left alone. We are tied.
And this is what VCU does. Now all of a sudden the half-court defense is being really tough. Forcing turnovers.
Dinkins out to Hunger, another 3. Not this time, and the rebound to Hill.
That was a big shot because he was wide open.
Chance of VCU from the sellout crowd at the Siegel Center. Hill for the lead. And the rebound to GW.
That was a pretty good look for a great three-point shooter. Over 40%.
Aaron Gurin working on Djokovic. Tough fadeaway shot. Doesn't get the bounce. Tipped up and in. Hunger taking credit for that one. Hunger has his 3rd straight game of at least 20 points. His previous career high was 17. Bell will pop a 3. Why not? Eighth 3 of the night for VCU, and they lead by 1.
I mean, and Bell is a good three-point shooter. Doesn't usually take a lot, but he can make them. What? I don't know about that one.
Dinkins misses the long 3, and the rebound comes out, and a foul is called. That could be on Aaron Gurin, which would be his 4th.
It's going to be on him.
Wow.
He's going to come out.
So Dinkins with a deep 3, and then the foul is committed, and this momentum, as we mentioned, now on VCU's side.
You see Bell has played so well in this 9-game streak. And this is clearly a foul.
Aaron Gurin back on the bench now with 4 fouls and 8:35 on the clock. Both teams in the bonus. And it's Nick Lewis at the free throw line. Freshman from Washington, D.C., played at Gonzaga High School.
Hey, he was going to go to Xavier.
Yep.
And then with the coaching change, decides to come here.
Pretty good get for Phil Martelli Jr.
Really good get.
It's a 14-2 run over the last 3.5 minutes for VCU. Contact, no call. Johnson with 8 to shoot, dribbles in. Djokovic goes up to greet him out of bounds. And it's VCU ball. Man, you hate to say it, that technical foul.
It was big.
Big
no
one.
question.
Big one. Things have changed.
Ever since that happened, I'm not trying to get that poor assistant buried, though, but... and they give it right back. 7:58 to go.
Been a really good one here tonight to kick off our doubleheader on CBS Sports Network. Thanks for joining us tonight. Our producer is Bill Thayer, our director Andy Goldberg, Nick Barabetti, our entire CBS Sports Network crew. With Steve Lapis, I'm Andrew Catalan. Been a good one here at the Siegel Center with 7:58 to go. Since that technical foul against George Washington, VCU has gone on a 12-2 run.
And you know, those 6 turnovers in the second half for GW have really hurt. 13 points for VCU off GW turnovers. GW only 7 points off turnovers. So that's been the difference.
And a timeout as Christian Jones could not get the ball in. Will step aside as well. Another big night for Luke Hunger, starting for the injured Rafael Castro. Look at what he's done now over the last 4 games. 31 and now 22 tonight.
Talk about doing your part. He's done his part, that's for sure.
Marshall brings it across. Guarded tightly by Bell. A reminder, both teams in the bonus.
Great
nice
back
cut. Dunk. Dinkins can't finish though. GW wanted a foul, no call. 5-on-4 the other way. Hill has been quiet tonight. Trying to get jump started here in the second half. Gets some separation and hits. And then hits himself in the head, trying to wake him up as the Rams go up by 5.
Nice little step back by Hill. Very smooth with the ball. Not tonight, but that one was. A lot of dribbling around.
Johnson, a deep 3.
Not a good look.
Long rebound to Marshall, though. Shot clock goes to 20. Hunger inside, double team. Djokovic got a piece of it. Bell wants to run. Hands off to Hill. VCU has stepped up the defensive intensity here in the second half.
Big time. Forcing a lot of turnovers and a lot of tough shots.
Djokovic is fouled on the drive. Second foul on Hunger.
Yeah, Terrence Hill here with a little step back. And it looked like Hunger was going to get one here, but Djokovic,
who's now at the free throw line, where he's been very good of late. Last 15 games, 83% at the free throw line. And how about this, with 6.5 to go, Aaron Gurin back on the floor and 4 fouls.
You know, I can see that. You know, Chris Caputo's probably thinking it's now or never on the road like this. He's an experienced guy. Give it a shot. There's no right or wrong answer. Some other guys would say, you know, we're still only down 6. Depends how you feel.
Yeah, and also depends on how many people you have available tonight,
well,
which is only 7 really for GW.
And it looks to me like GW got a little gassed here the last few minutes, to be honest with you.
Maybe Aaron Gurin can provide that spark. Hasn't played much because of foul trouble.
Because the pace of this game has been pretty fast.
And we have a foul called against Brandon Jennings. Was tangled up with Luke Hunger. That's the 3rd foul on Jennings as we take another look at what happened. Hunger and Jennings wrapped up.
I don't know. That's
fans didn't like that one.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Looked like an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Trying to drive the defensive end back.
Potential tush push. A one-man tush push.
Yeah, I think Hunger is the man you'd want for that.
Yes.
Former hockey player, 6'10", 250. Don't give Nick Sirianni any ideas, lad. Hunger makes a pair. Hunger has 24 points and 9 rebounds.
And now they're trying that zone again. The big thing is they got to rebound.
Lewis, that's a deep 3. It's good.
I'll tell you what.
Freshman comes to play.
This kid's getting better and better, and that's where he's getting better and better in terms of shooting that three, which he did not do well at the beginning of the year, but he is now.
He's got a dozen.
Good player. Could be the rookie of the year in the A-10.
Aaron Gurin from the outside. And a body on the ground and a foul and a whistle against GW. Jennings to the floor as now Hill and Johnson talk about Valentine's Day and what they did.
You know what? GW right now is not getting good looks. And that was deep, but it was open. And they didn't get a hand up.
So now Johnson picks up his fourth, and he will sit.
Yeah, you can't have two guys in the game with 4 fouls because then you have no defense. You get away with one. If you have 2 out there, it becomes really, really tough.
That is 2 free throws now for VCU the rest of the way with Brandon Jennings at the line. He had failed to reach double figures in scoring in each of his last 5 games, but he's got 11 tonight and now trying to add to his total. Now the officials still not on the same page about something. Appears that Tyrone Marshall tried to enter the game without checking in, but he is still at the scorer's table and will come in next whistle. Wow, Jennings 86% at the line, but he misses the free throw. Dinkins and Marshall back on the floor. One out of 2 for the sophomore from Richmond.
They have to have a good possession here. And they haven't had many in the last 5 minutes.
Jennings trying to stay with Dinkins, knowing he has in the gym range.
Not a lot of movement going on now.
Autry bounces to Hunger. Jennings picked his pocket. Great defense by the Rams.
And that's what Jennings does, Andrew. He's one of the best in the league. Preseason all defense.
Djokovic got sent to the ground, and he's in some pain. No foul called on the play, but the officials stopped play as Djokovic is hunched over. Looks like he's going to come out. Barry Evans back on the floor. Djokovic frustrated as he goes to the bench.
You know, to show you how good these guys are, let's see what happens to Djokovic here. Oh, he tripped on him. Tripped on Marshall's foot. But to show you how good VCU is, and again, this game's not over yet, Jadrian Tracy's been one of their best players in the last 5 games, and he's been completely invisible in this game, and they're up by 8.
Hasn't scored. He's 0 for 2. Johnson just comes back on the floor for Aaron Gurin. So Johnson out there with 4 fouls. Hill is fouled. Christian Jones commits that foul, and it'll be 2 free throws for Terrence Hill.
Yeah, I'm looking, Andrew, at GW, and I'm thinking, I think they're a little gassed. I think the last 5 minutes, they have not looked like they've had a lot of juice.
No field goals in the last 4 minutes and 44 seconds. For GW, they are 1 for their last 10.
And the truth is, of those 10, not many good looks. And this is where the depth of VCU, they're like relentless for 40 minutes.
Hill makes a pair with 4:45 to go. Largest lead of the second half for VCU, and it matches their largest lead of the game.
Look at Jennings.
Dinkins tried to draw the foul.
No, that wasn't working.
Dinkins will put up a three off the front of the rim, and Jennings is right there.
Tough
Jennings
shot.
has been in the right place at the right time tonight.
That's the kind of guy he is. Those three guards, you know, you got Hill, Jennings, Lewis. That's pretty good.
Hill almost tried to pull a Dinkins. Now 5 to shoot. Tough shot there by Lewis. It's tipped out to Jones. Hill trying to get back. Jones going all the way. Hands off to Dinkins, who had it rejected by Jennings again. Lewis in the corner. And an offensive rebound by Evans. Hill will take a three. That won't go. Lewis tries to save it off of it. Autry, but could not. Those are some quick shots there with 3.5 to go.
Not necessary, really.
Could have pulled it back. Now Johnson for three. Spins around. And the rebound to VCU. Now Phil Martelli with both hands up, saying, let's slow down a little bit. Try to milk a little clock. Hill, yes.
Good player. And he was going to go to they don't get back that time.
And Avery is, Autry rather, is fouled. Not what Phil Martelli Jr. and VCU wanted. No reason for that foul, as Trey Autry will have a chance at three, and Hill is still down on the ground. Now just getting up.
Completely fell asleep in the transition defense that time.
Back here in Richmond, 2:51 on the clock, a 10-point game as Trey Autry tries to finish off the three-point play. And the rebound secured by Lewis.
They definitely need to play clock now. Up 10, 2:45 to go.
Jennings baseline, rolls it in.
Strong move.
Jennings with 14. Lewis, great anticipation for the steal. Djokovic ahead of the pack. Lewis will bring it back out. Great play by the freshman.
Good job by the freshman.
Djokovic with 4 to shoot. Djokovic flies in, no. Tried to follow up his own miss, not there. Marshall is fouled.
Yeah, that you didn't want to do.
With 1:48 to go. All right, Steve, let's follow up on your keys to the game. See how they play it out.
Well, rebound, got to win the rebounding battle, GW. They're usually a really good rebounding team, only by one. Transition defense, VCU fast break, 11 points. They've kind of been okay there. Defend the three. George Washington, 11 for 31. They were really on fire for a lot of the game. They've simmered down a little bit and get to the free throw line. VCU, 29 free throw attempts. They average 26, which is number 12 in the nation. They get to the free throw line.
23% of their points come from the free throw line this year. And that could be a big part of this last 148, as Marshall now at the line for GW. Misses the front end, and it goes out of bounds. And it will stay with the Revolutionaries.
The players were asking a challenge, but coaching staff not challenging.
They don't have a challenge.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. So, I'm watching the kid go like this.
The kids just want a challenge.
Yeah, you want a challenge. Yeah. That's not the rules. Well, they listened to Terrell Ward on the one that they lost.
Hunger the offensive rebound. Marshall step back three. That's good. And a quick timeout by GW. 83-74 with 1:34 on the clock. VCU trying to put this one away and pick up their 10th consecutive win. And here's what they have coming up down the stretch. The big one we've talked about Friday at St. Louis, who's now 24-2 after the loss tonight to URI.
They got a tough road. You know, they got at St. Louis, at Dayton, which is never easy. I mean, Dayton is still 16-9, not having the kind of year everybody thought. And they got George Mason. This is, you know, and Fordham is, let me tell you this, they're playing much better. Now, it's going to be a tough game for Fordham here, but Mike Magpeo is doing a very good job this year at Fordham.
GW commits the foul. I don't think Chris Caputo wanted that to happen, at least not yet. Fouling Terrence Hill as Marshall picks up his third. So Hill, 2 of 7 from the floor, 0 of 5 from deep. But he gets into double figures because of what he's done at the free throw line. He's now 6 out of 7.
You know, from the time he took those technical foul shots, he's been much more involved in this game.
Bell returns. Ward gets a nice hand as he exits.
Get something quick. Take it to the basket. You know, most coaches are yelling, don't foul, don't foul. Now's the time you get a quick deuce. Obviously, if you get a 3, even better. Good defense.
Jennings called for the foul with 1:14 to go. And that's his 4th. So that'll send Tyrone Marshall to the free throw line for 2 shots. Marshall with 13 points on 6 of 7 shooting tonight to go along with 4 rebounds. Well, for those of you tuning in for the Grand Canyon San Diego State game, you will be able to find it streaming for free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN as soon as it tips off. And of course, we'll get you there as soon as this one is done. Tip-off set for 10:10 Eastern Time. Ward back in for Bell.
Get the better free throw shooter in the game.
Full court pressure for GW, and they commit a foul before any time comes off the clock.
Not the guy you want to send to the free throw line.
So this will be the 32nd and 33rd free throws of the night for VCU.
They have so many guys. Obviously, they're getting fouled here because they're ahead, but they get so many guys that can put the ball on the floor and get to the basket. They're athletic, hard to guard.
Like Bell checked in properly. That's the second time we've had that tonight.
What is this, a church league or something? Reminds me of when I was coaching the Greek church. Stuff would happen. Guys just walk in.
So now Bell has to stay out. And with 1:10 to go. Johnson puts up a 3. Djokovic the rebound. Looks like Chris Caputo saying, let's not foul, and they do anyway.
He didn't want him to foul that
with 1 minute to go. Well, I think we saw tonight what GW is capable of. And now, when you add back in Rafael Castro, this is a team that I don't think a lot of A-10 teams are going to want to see in the A-10 tournament.
Oh, no, dangerous. And now that they found Luke Hunger and got another, not that he wasn't a good player before, but better than they thought, this is a dangerous team.
All right, the Grand Canyon San Diego State game is now underway and now available streaming free on the CBS Sports app or cbssports.com/CBSSN. And we'll take you there here on CBS Sports Network as soon as this one is over. With 1 minute on the clock, Lewis rattles that one in. 6 Rams are in double figures. That's the first time that's happened for VCU since the season opener against Wagner. Jennings a little aggressive there, and Phil Martelli Jr. saying, let's not commit any fouls.
I think for having only 7 guys, the pace of this game was just way too fast.
A rejection inside with 30 seconds to go. And the fans here at the Siegel Center rise as one as VCU will pick up its 10th consecutive win. It's their longest win streak since they won 12 games in a row 7 years ago. They'll take the shot clock violation, give it over to GW. As Phil Martelli Jr.'s team goes to 21-6 on the year and sets up that showdown on Friday night in St. Louis. Dinkins puts one up, rejected by Jennings, and that is how it ends. 89-75, the final score, as VCU keeps it rolling. Another win against GW. We update the standings in the A-10. They look a little different with St. Louis losing. VCU now just a half game behind St. Louis with that big one on tap Friday night.